game. You know, a lot of people trying to get into the game, but they don't know where to start from. And our goal is to bring guests on the show to give them a little motivation and a little insight on how to start their own wholesaling business as well. So
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Right. So Chrystal, let me jump right in there. I want to say thank you so much for your service as a nurse. And I think, I think I speak for a lot of us. We didn't, I think we always realized how important our first responders were, but this pandemic just kind of pulled it full circle. So I'm very curious if you could share us your backstory of nursing and how you transitioned into real estate.
Well, I started in nursing a long time ago. I actually started out as the CNA in a long-term care facility or a nursing home. Then I decided that I wanted to do emergency medicine. So I became an EMT, which, you've heard of EMTs, we're the ambulance drivers.
Mhm.
Um, and then I decided that emergency medicine, after running a few calls with children and having children of my own, I decided that probably was not for me. So I went back to long-term care. I've done everything from staff development to, COVID front lines, home health, all kinds of stuff. I've met so many fantastic patients and residents in facilities. I really enjoy nursing, and I've actually incorporated part of my real estate business into, or my nursing role into part of one of our real estate businesses. So I actually help members of the community in their transition into long-term care. So it's nice to be able to still be a nurse. It's not something that you just forget. So my boyfriend and I, whenever we got together, we decided that, we had a future in real estate, and we've been extremely supportive of each other. I do this full time, so he's kind of let go of a little bit of it for me to be able to expand our business, and he trusts my decision making, thankfully. So we work really well together. And I've met a lot of wonderful people through social media and different members of the community. So we just try to meet new people and help each other out and build good teams and good relationships. And it's been great.
Amazing, amazing. Well, again, I have to say thank you. Thank you so much for your service. Um,
Thank you.
so all of our viewers are always curious about your first deal. So if you could maybe share with people a little bit of the backstory, maybe how you found the deal, maybe the circumstances behind getting the deal to the finish line.
So I had a lot of canceled contracts before the first one came through. Um, Basically, I've been to the point of, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing things correctly? What am I missing? I've met a few of dishonest people that really, thwarted my attempts at success, and it made me very nervous, to be honest with you. But we've built enough relationships with very good people that we've actually set to close this this coming a large multi-family going to pay very well. So what I try to do with our businesses is, they say to find a problem and create a business that solves it. So what we've done is I've gone off the deep end on multi. I think it involves relatively the same amount of work as single family wholesaling does. I still wholesale in single family, but multi kind of a niche market for us, and it pays very well. So
Okay, so Crystal, we were having some, you were going in and out. So I'm almost wondering if it may work if we just turn off your video, because I know
mhm.
sometimes the bandwidth, yeah, can improve the sound. Yeah, yeah. So if you could really kind of reshare how you got your first deal, because it wasn't as clear as I would have wanted to be.
Okay, I apologize. Are you able to hear me better now?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So basically, we had several canceled contracts prior to landing our first deal, and it actually worked out in our best interest. Like I said, I've been doing this full time, and you wonder if you're doing the right thing or if you've met enough of the right people. So we just had, we had some wholesalers that were a little bit dishonest. We've had people that are not necessarily buying all the classic things, but we're actually set to close this coming week on a very large family deal, which will pay very well. So we decided to kind of fully multifamily its own creature, and so we've kind of been in that world, and yeah, we're set to close and make a very nice profit.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, and I got to send you the information. I think in 3 weeks, we're going to be having a conversation with Mr. Multifamily, a gentleman down in Texas, Darren. Ambrose, do you remember the pronunciation of his last name? You're on mute, Ambrose.
I think it's Darren Bachelor. I think
That's it, right? Yeah, yeah. He actually does syndication.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're super pumped to actually get him on. To we're really kind of not in that world yet of apartment buildings, but that's something that we're interested in learning about. Because as I said, maybe to you initially, but always with our viewers, wholesaling is the gateway drug. And once you kind of get that taste, there's so many doors of real estate that you can walk through. It's incumbent of us to share it all. So we're excited. So congratulations on that one. We're
Thank you.
We're happy to hear about that. Ambrose,
Well,
you got
actually, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
So actually, our gateway drug, I completely agree with wholesaling. It does open a lot of doors, and it's helping us build capital for our own buy and holds later on. But what actually propelled us a little bit more quickly than we might have been able to do, outside of this was we actually leased out our home in Florida, and we were actually able to find a tenant to sign a 1-year lease, and she paid cash for the whole year. So that afforded us a lot of, yeah, exactly. That afforded us a lot of opportunity to fully dive into real estate. So it was kind of a random thing that we didn't really anticipate and we couldn't have planned for. We didn't intentionally do it that way. It just kind of fell into our lap. So we hope to have more buy and holds, and we would eventually like to own maybe some mobile home parks or some apartment buildings or both. And with wholesaling real estate, we're able to get to those goals much faster than, a 9-to-5.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Ambrose, I'm gonna kick it over to you, my friend.
So thanks again, Chrystal, for taking the time out of your day to have a conversation with us. My first question here is that I know a lot of new wholesaler likes to read books that's just to learn more about the business as well. I was wondering if there any book that you have read in the past that you could recommend?
I have read all of the free ebooks on Apple. I have read all of them have something valuable. Download phone and reread when you have it, because you may not be experiencing the exact situation that that you're reading about at the time. You may have to reflect back to it just to understand it fully once that presents itself. But I have read absolutely everything, and I watch lots and lots of YouTube. Not to mimic, of course, we all have our favorites that we follow, but I've watched as much YouTube as imagine just to try everybody's take on a situation, and I take something away from everything that I've read and everything that I've watched. I wouldn't say that one specific book was the game changer. I tried to read absolutely everything I could get my hands on.
Thank you very much. And also, is there any other podcasts that you listen to? I'm a big podcast fan. So is there any other podcast that you listen to? And if so, can you please recommend any of them to us?
There is one on Instagram. I'll have to send you the link for it. Not showing up on my IG right this second. I believe it's come back to that question as soon as I can pull it back up. Of course, whenever you log into Instagram, it immediately is back to the new feed.
Right.
Yeah, there's one on Instagram that's great.
Thank you very much. I'm going to pass the next question to Earl.
Sure.
All right, I'm off from mute. All right, so let's talk about tips and tricks, right? So is there any technology that you would recommend to like a newbie wholesaler or just someone that is interested in maximizing their hours and they have a little money to spend on technology? What's
Well, I mean,
your go-to?
well, we do direct mail, which is fairly cheap. Um, and I actually just had a homeowner text me a couple of days ago. He's down at College Park in Atlanta. I'm not sure if you're in Atlanta or familiar with the area, but anyway, so direct mail is fairly inexpensive depending on how much you want to send out. And then we do prop stream just because it gives us, pretty decent information. We're able to pull some reports. I believe it's $97 or $99 a month. I don't do any of the skip tracing services. I don't do cold calling, things like that. And then basically just leveraging your social media accounts and following groups on Facebook has been invaluable. A few times I've been locked out of advertising because I added too many friends at one time. So just be wary of that. But yeah, we run ads on Facebook. You can set your own budget for that. So you can spend, $10 or $15 or $20 or $100 or whatever you want to spend with that. And then, we have marketing materials like flyers and brochures, business cards, things like that. It was fairly cheap. I would say less than $100 for all of it. So it's not very expensive to put yourself out there. But what I do is I drive a Toyota Camry. So I get very good gas mileage. I fill it up. I put my dog in the back and I go drive it for dollars. And that's how I actually got the address for the homeowner in College Park who texted me a couple of days ago. We actually went out and toured his property, and it was because it was a distressed property that we drove past and then marketed to that specific area. If you're local to an area, of course, you have that luxury. If you're wholesaling virtually, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. But we also have some folks that are bird dogging for us, and of course, that's not an upfront fee that we pay out. That's based on when everything is go to closing. So it's no upfront cost. You just pay it out of your bottom line.
But unpack that for us, Ambrose, because we do a lot of the same things. There's a ton of overlap.
Right. So like she said, a lot of newbies doesn't really have money to buy all the system right now. So, driving for dollars is definitely number one in my book, because you could see deals right there, and a lot of properties that's not been touched, that needs a little bit of rehabbing. You could see them with your own eyes and stuff like that. So, driving for dollars is definitely number one for me. You say you don't do skip tracing, but you have what's the other one you said again?
You mean prop stream?
PropStream, that's it. So PropStream, I like PropStream as well, but I feel like a lot of people take lists from PropStream, and it's kind of hard for you to really get deals over there. But we use PropStream as well, and so that's about it. Honestly, like you said, driving for dollar. When we first started, we were cold calling, and a lot of homeowners they don't pick up their phone calls. So I think
Right.
text message as well is probably number one, because everybody has a cell phone. Everybody check their messages and stuff like that. So the rate of having somebody reply to you through text message is a lot higher than cold calling, basically. So
I agree with you.
right.
Something else I want to unpack that Chrystal said is the power of social media. Case in point, I met Chrystal through social media. Most of my cash buyers I have connected through social media. My current real estate mentor, social media. We had an amazing guest on not that long ago, Ambrose, Finney Thornton out of Houston. And through social media, now Chrystal, you got to listen to this hack on finding buyers that she turned us on to. And our lives have never been the same. So Ambrose, share what the hack is with Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. You were talking about the hashtag when you're looking for buyers and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. We find a lot of buyers on Instagram just by hashtagging investor in a specific area. If let's say we're looking for buyers in Atlanta, hashtag investors Atlanta ATL or something like that, and we happen to have a lot of buyers over there, honestly. And we also look for wholesaler as well with that same system as well. So it's very lucrative.
Absolutely. Another person that I follow on Instagram is the Flip Man,
Yeah.
and he recommended carrying business cards with you. And whenever you're out driving for dollars and you see someone flipping, construction going on at a property, things like that, dropping off your business card. And then obviously at auctions, people are there to pay cash for these houses. They're not leveraging hard money. They're actually having to pay with cash. And so taking your cards to auctions and passing those out. And then another way that we've been able to find cash buyers is running I run the last 30 days, so I know who's actively buying. But the last 30 days I zip code. And then I just sort and filter it by the type of property that it is. So, to find a property a cash buyer for a $55 million multifamily out in Tampa. So, it'll tell you. Another way, to be honest with you, is title. Make good friends and your title agents, because I've gotten several referrals properties from my title agent. In Florida, we use title agents. In Georgia, we use closing agents. It's a bit of a difference, but my title agent has access to a ridiculous number of buyers. So, if you can't find a buyer, more than likely your title agent can. So if you're really close, and I only use one. I have one here in Georgia I use, and I have one in Florida that I use. They cover the whole state, so it's pretty lucrative as far as doing business with your title agents.
Right. You're on mute, Earl.
All right, next question. Okay, sweet spot. So when we first got going in our wholesaling game, our sweet spot, we kind of focused in on vacant property. And so we were like in ninja mode. We were going to the water authority. We wanted the water shut off list. We were driving for dollars. And really our first couple of deals were vacant properties. So for you in your team, what's been your sweet spot? What have you guys have focused on?
Actually contacting landlords. If you look on, let's say, social media market, like Facebook Marketplace or something like that, landlords that either have multiple properties listed that are vacant, or a serial for the area, which shows me that there's an opportunity and maybe they just don't want to make the repairs or they can't make the repairs. I've contacted a landlord for one property and he gave me a 5-property portfolio. He didn't want to keep the properties. I've spoken to a landlord not too far from where I live right now, and he actually was already under contract with another to sell the property, but you can get some tired landlords, and especially right now with the moratorium and states not allowing properties due to late rent payments or what have you. There's a lot of landlords that are looking to get rid of their properties, just calling and talking to tired landlords.
Interesting you pointed out the tired landlords, because I have a homework assignment that I haven't really gotten to, but I'm supposed to be calling 5 FSBOs a day to basically, leverage the tired landlord relationship. So, thank you for reminding me. I got to get some stuff done. All right, next question. Let me kick it over to you, Ambrose.
Yeah, just to add on to that, a lot of landlords have like you said, they have their property they need to sell, but you never know until you can talk to them, because sometimes they have multiple properties that they want to sell, and it could be a lucky day. So every day, make sure you call at least 5 landlords, and it's going to be a lot easier the more call that you make. So for
Absolutely.
For my next question, right? I know you have families and everything like that. I was wondering, could you share to us and the audience basically where is your days like? So when you wake up in the morning to when you go to bed, how are you like attacking this business?
So I'm doing this full time. I've been lucky enough to be able to retire from nursing and do this full time. We wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. My partner goes to his 9 to 5. Well, actually, I guess it's his 7 to, yeah, he works 7 to 5. He works 10-hour days, usually 4 days. We're not excited that he has to work tomorrow, so we have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning for a fifth straight day. But typically, I start in the morning with things very early. I start checking my emails, my Facebook, my Instagram, and I start doing things that I can't do while people are sleeping. So I do my mailing, the things that you're not able to make phone calls and do. So I'll, research on a list on PropStream or on Google, um, things like that, and I go ahead and get prepared. I usually have my mail done by run out to the post office just to break up the monotony of my day, maybe eat some lunch for the dog, and then I come back and get started again. Usually my phone is ringing the entire time. It never fails that when I'm folding laundry, my phone rings. Um, but yeah, I just make sure I'm finishing everything that I started. If it's something that needs agreement from another wholesaler or a signed contract or something that needs to wait until the next day, then that's fine. But I try to both things tied up. I have a schedule that I follow for marketing amongst businesses so that I'm not doing everything every day. My nursing real estate business on Mondays and Thursdays, and involves me driving out to nursing homes. So that takes up a good chunk of my day on those days. But typically, for the I work 6, 7 days, not full days, obviously on the weekends, because most of us are off on Sundays. But there is a little bit of business to be done on Sundays too. So I just typically try to get it done before. Just for the end of the day so that the next morning I can hit it hard again. I also have to be mindful of a lot of my business associates are in different time zones. So, I mean, I communicate with people out in, on the West Coast. So sometimes I'm getting phone calls at 9 o'clock at night, which, on the East Coast that wouldn't fly. But, whenever they're behind me, it's 6, 7 o'clock there. To answer everything and get it all done, get a good night's sleep, and get right back at it.
Great, great, great. Thank you again. Like you said, getting up every morning and attacking this business. And so when the next day comes, you want to do things that you didn't do the following day. I know it was the connection is low off right now. I don't know what's going on with it, but I really appreciate you sharing out your schedule for the day. And I'm going to pass the next question to Earl.
Yeah, Chrystal, we are really upset. We're kind of frustrated because you're sharing some really, really good information. And it's like our signal, like the omens are not cooperating. And so, but it's all good. You're sharing a tons of information. So, one of the things I'll share with you, Chrystal, is we offer a service for new wholesalers around comping. And the reason for that is that when we first got going, for every 2 deals we locked up, no, I think for every 3 deals we locked up, we could only really get one to get to the finish line because we locked it up too high. We didn't really understand comping. So one of the services that we offer is at the top of the screen. Folks can shoot us a deal. We have no desire to take your deal, and we'll at least help you get a number and give you a buy number. Because the goal is not how many deals you lock up, is how many problems you solve. And you can only really solve a problem if you can connect that seller who has a situation where they're willing to trade equity for speed and convenience with an investor who has the cash to put into a house, put into a community and bring it back to life. So that's what, you know, really the goal of wholesaling is to create win-win situations. So our final question is this, and we really appreciate your time, 100%. And you kind of talked about this before, but I'm going to put an extra spin on it. Okay. If you were in a new city and you had to get a wholesale deal done in 30 to, let's say, 60 days, and you only had $1,000 to work with, what do you think your top 3 to 4 strategies would be? New city, no connections, $1,000. What would you do?
Driving for dollars, talking to people, direct mail, and social media, Facebook groups. I think that joining local groups is super advantageous. You can see who the key players are in that area. Maybe partner with them on a deal or two, something like that. But yeah, just leveraging PropStream. It's $100. I think several people have discussed, batch leads versus PropStream. I haven't used batch leads about that, but between Zillow and PropStream, I get what I need. $100, talking to those folks, mailing these people letters. I think those are super important. And then, of course, the local Facebook groups.
Awesome. Chrystal, how can people reach out to you through social media if they want to continue the conversation?
I speak to new folks all the time. I had one lady call me who is relocating from somewhere in Ohio to Atlanta, Georgia, and she's in the wholesale real estate. She's looking to relocate her family, and we've just had a conversation. The phone number is on my Facebook page, actually, if you like my business pages. My email address is there, our websites are there. Contact me via Instagram at Blackheart Properties. Facebook, my name is there in the subject line. Friend request me, send me a message. Yeah, call me, text me.
All right. So I'm always going to put you on the spot. Let me see if my mute is off. My mute is off. Yes. I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm wanting you to say yes. Will you come back in about 6 months and check in with us and see how business is going?
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, YouTube, Facebook. Thank you, Chrystal, for your time. And this is Real Housing Relief, revitalizing the community, one property at a time. Thank you, guys.
Be well.
Thank you, Chrystal.